Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM22. It's Youth Factory. This is episode 58. We pick up where we left off just a few days later, so the fatigue is still high, and we are still very much scraping the bottom of the barrel with two more players out on yellow card accumulation and a lot of fatigue with the team. OSB still injured. It's not looking great in terms of what we're able to field as a lineup and how fresh that lineup is very much not. So let's see if we can get into this one and get something, because honestly this is our last good chance to score points this season. The reason why this is our last good chance to score points is we are up against Fredrikstad and at home. This is the team that is on the relegation bubble, and it is the last time that we play a team outside of the top half of the standings the rest of the season. So this really is by far and away the best chance to get something, and they have brought a huge away crowd to this one to try to help them along. Their crowd not quite matching what we have, but they have plenty of stands in the away, plenty of people in the away stand for this one. Team off to an okay start here. Lavas, Andreasen going backwards. Again, so many changes to the side makes me nervous, but we are playing from home. Great ball over the top. Andreasen slips it past keeper, and we get the early lead here inside the first 10 minutes. What a play there. Fantastic ball over the top. And a really good finish from Andreasen. We tend to struggle with those. Well timed on the run. Very well placed, and he slips it past the leg of the collapsing goalkeeper, who just tried to get as big as he could with that tight angle, and that's why those tend to be really difficult to score, because A, it's a tight angle, and B, the keeper can take away so much of it, and without anybody to lay the pass off to, you got to beat the keeper and get it on target. Difficult combination. Great through ball. Lovas, can he make it do it? He does! Wow! Just a minute later, and we have bagged our second goal already. Andreasen lays it off for Lovas. Homdahl trying to make a run there, but he pulls back. Good hold-up play, and Lovas then squeezes between the two defenders. And again, angle a little better this time. Keeper, not much he can do there. And it is 2-0. We've only had 2 shot attempts. They've had 3 already, so they are very much an ever-present force in this one, but only 0.05 XG from those 3 on-target shots. I mean, I don't know how you get so little XG. Did they hit 40-yard headers without any power? Ooh, dangerous one here, and great block, but they get a second chance at it, and they cut the score, the lead in half here inside the first 20 minutes. Becca Void sets up Christensen, should have scored there, but Moen makes the block. Defense cannot scramble. Moen tries to, he gets back to his feet, but he's got nowhere to go. You can see his frustration. And they make it 2. They go all the way back to the goalkeeper on a free kick with only a little pressure and wide open guys here to send a ball into the box. Strange choice. But here is where the highlight has emerged. It's out for a corner kick after they got that shot off. That one's headed away, but it's kept in. It was headed away by us, so Upsal not offside there because we were the ones who played that ball. Grabs that ball for an easy save, otherwise that could have been another goal, and dangerous for us on that one. Arendelle leading against Ranheim, team in the relegation zone against the #1 team in the league, and they've got the early lead. And it's 2-0 in that game. Wow. That makes our 3 points, potential 3 points, that much more important on a day like this. Boy, we've seen a couple of repeats here. They are doing the same thing, and we are not dealing with it terribly well. Corner kick. I think we need to go balanced. We're going to have to make some adjustments, I feel, because we are really struggling to get the ball at all for any amount of time as we give that one away, but I understand the intent to try to take advantage of the numbers. That's what you like to see in those situations. If you're going to lose a ball, you might as well lose it trying to make the kind of play that's going to lead to a goal, as opposed to just maintaining possession. Oh, come on, defense. Better positioned. He's got nowhere to go, and yet he still squeezes between us. And a double chance on that one. First one hits the post. Second chance, saved by Moen. Ay, ay, ay. We have not had a shot on target since the second goal, and they have amassed 11 shots since then, with 6 of those on target, and have gotten a lot of XG, where they were at, what was it, 0.03, 0.05 on those first few chances that were all on target. Now they have an additional 2.1 XG since then. Here is that turning point. The turning point started with the goal, and then they've been flying since, and we have done nothing. We have flatlined. You can pronounce us dead, at least at halftime. Second half gets underway. I made a number of changes in individual markings and when to trigger press and whatnot, but not a major tactical change at this point. However, it's been obvious where their great strength has been, and that's been out on the wings. They are just simply running a 4-4-1-1 with nothing crazy about that 4-4-1-1, but that extra width and pace that they have out there has been pretty bad for us. So let's see if it continues. Lavas makes it 3! Oh, what a great start to each half that we've had here, and it's now a 3-1 lead, and now we very much have something that we can hang on to. Lavas, who had been offside, gets back on, and as he continued to move away from that center back who was marking him, and he got himself back on, he just took a couple more steps to that side to get a little bit further away from him, and then started his run going away from that man, knowing where that space was. Ball comes to him in a good spot where the angle is not taken away. Keeper doesn't close him out very well, gives him enough of the goal, and that's a pretty easy finish from there. Forcing them all the way back to the goalkeeper and then through the middle where we are stacked. But Decathlon offside, and it's out for a goal kick. No flag raised. Not even sure that that was even very close, but okay. We get lucky on that one apparently. And here they go, finding that space to the outside again. Christensen with an 8-something in the ratings department, and we need to defend wider. Clearly we need to defend wider, and we need to change things up tactically. I've already told you to mark him, but okay, fine. It's 3-2, and there is a lot of time left to play in this one, and that has again been we have 3 goals with only 3 shots on target. I bet you there's one player on their team that has really, really poor ratings. Well, apparently it's more than one. He's not being blamed. You have 0 saves and allowed 3 goals in. You're 0 for 3 on save attempts, and yet you have a 6.4. All right, so we're going through a bit of a tactical overhaul here to try to hang on to this thing for the last half an hour. For now, we're going to go cautious. We will go more defensive in time. I'm going to have to probably adjust our position on the pitch as well. Lavas staying on top, Holmdel dropping a bit deeper and taking over the advanced playmaker role from the midfield. So he's kind of blending his normal role, just playing a bit deeper. And that gives our center mids converting both to ball-winning midfielders, so we still have control of the midfield. Janssen there still in his same role, but dropping both of our wingers a lot deeper and focusing on defensive duties from here on out, not getting the normal width that we do, which means we're gonna have to play through the middle, those long balls over the top. I'm totally fine with that. So far, 2 subs being used, Fawoli and Janssen. Let me see, which one do I want? 11 tackling, 10 marking. $12 tackling, 9 marking, very similar. You figure Janssen's gonna collect a few more balls, maybe? Better decision making, yeah. We'll keep Janssen back there and Fawoli in the midfield. All right, we'll see how this goes. Short term, Lavas earns his corner on that one. That's good. And changes start to side. Wow, words. The changes have taken place and now given us a much less tired side than what we had, and suddenly things seem to be petering out. '80th minute. Let's go more defensive. Janssen. Dangerous position on that free kick, but can't beat the wall. And now they have their own. Keeps that in. Riza, his cross is blocked. And we had that one away. Oof. Oh, wow, that was so close to being an equalizer. Time wasting. Let's go massive on the time wasting here. Play for the set pieces. Don't worry about working the ball into the box anymore. No yellow cards. Go ahead and get stuck in. Let's bring these lines back. Lower. Yeah, much lower. Let's get compact. I think we can... Well, taking their width away seems to have worked really well, so let's keep that up. It's cleared away. They're going to recover, get another chance, and again cleared away, this time offside. 89th minute. Stoppage time. 2 minutes to go. Ooh, close on that one. It's over. 1 minute to go. Give it straight away to the opposition. They're through. Moen, gets there first. Haagensen, very tired. Let's go ahead and bring on... I have no subs for you. Okay, let's bring on somebody else instead. We'll get Homedale off and bring on Mankiewicz. 20 seconds. Probably not even going to get him on the pitch, but just in case. Homedale. Nice through ball for Lavaz. Plays it to the corner. We don't get there, but the idea is there. Waste time. And that's it. We survive. We get the 3 points. The huge 3 points. Let's see what happened in the other action. Let's see how difficult it was. A lot of these guys that came in did not do terribly well. Harstead, 6.7. Jakobsen, just a 6.6. Hermansen, only a 6.9 for him. Jonas Gay did not have his best day. But we made that work. Moen, the big one, 7.4. Within Lavas and his 2 goals, that's your player of the match. Arundel with the shock upset of the league leaders, knocking them off the top of the table, despite having a much better goal differential than Bryn. That's a surprise. They are fighting for their lives. It shows. Tromsø gets a draw with Grorud goalless on the road, so both of them picking up a point. And then we get the win over Fredrikstad, keeping them on the bubble. Just goal differential now ahead of Arundel. But with 31 points, boy oh boy, are we getting close. 5 matches for most of the teams around us to play, meaning 15 points available. And we have an 8-point cushion. It's not over yet, folks. For the moment, we are up to 9th ahead of Straumen. I would figure we're not going to get too many points the rest of the way with how difficult our schedule is. Can we hang on to a top 10? Now that we've secured these points, I think that might be a little generous. I think we would slip down a bit, but with 31 points, I feel like that's enough. My target has been all season to get 30 plus. Seemed like a point per match would just about do it. In a game where the XG was equal, the chances were equal, the possession was slightly in our favor, even though we were on the road. Kongsvinger managed to beat us 3-2. We had the draw until the 88th minute, so we were holding on desperately, but it's a loss. But then we follow that up against that one team in the top half of the league that is semi-pro. The rest are all professional squads that have a clear advantage over everybody else. The best semi-pro team in the country, Ralphus, we get them at home, and we beat them at home. And that is absolutely huge for us. For one thing, big crowds for those last couple games, 2,400, 2,000, attending those 2 games here late in the season, knowing what we had at stake. So with that, here is how the relegation battle looks. 27 played. That means we have 3 matches remaining, meaning there are 9 points left in it. 9 points in it. Okay, looking at that, Steybeck sits on 25. That is 9 points behind. That is 9 points behind. Now, one thing I have not checked is how does the league above us look? Because Steybeck and Tromsø, well, they can't go up. But are they going to be forced down? I know it's Start, who we actually outplayed and then just got beat by one talented player. Ailsund is already facing relegation. Start looks likely, but they very much still have a chance. 6 matches to go there in the Elite Siren. And Haugesund in a playoff for survival. Tromsø and Steybeck not far above. So no, these two aren't going to be forced into relegation or anything like that. And we're on the verge. We're on the verge. Now, I got an email that said we're safe, but I could do the math. Steybeck still has 4 to play. They could easily get 9 points. It's not over yet. It is not over yet. It's close. We are actually 8 points clear of now everybody behind us, meaning we are probably headed for 10th place in the league in our first season here. We just lost 2-1 to Sandefjord on the road, which is a pretty dang good performance against them, but it's still a loss. Our position, of course, is unchanged, and Steybeck played 2 games. Actually, so has Tromsø since that time. And Steybeck have not scored points. So they still are 9 points behind us. They now only have 2 left, which means 6 is all they can score. Max out at 31. We're safe from them. We're safe from Tromsø. Arendale's 9 points that they could get would only get them to 32. And it is official now. We are safe from relegation with 2 matches left to play. Grorud, Jerv, Fredrikstad, if they win out, they could still get ahead of us. They could all reach 35, where we could, if we lose both games, still be on 34 here at the end of the season. So 10th place still in jeopardy, though not likely to see any of those 3 win out the remainder of the season. But we have done it. That's the important part. We will still be in the Obos-ligaen next season. Let's go ahead and get to those last 2 games and then take a quick look at how the team has performed this season. I don't know if it has anything to do with the progress of the team, as in development side, which absolutely could be a factor in this one. A lot of players have trained well, and we are seeing progress, so playing this higher level could have made a difference. I don't know if it's tactical, but whatever the reason behind it, the unexpected point in the season where I figured things were gonna start to go sour didn't go sour. They actually went really, really well. Our final 10 games of the season was the stretch that I went, uh-oh. Fredrikstad in 13th was the only team outside of the top 9 that we played in those final 10 games. We played the entire top 9 in the other 9 games. So it was going to be a difficult stretch for us, and most of our points were coming against bottom sides. So I honestly thought it was going to be a struggle. I knew we were going to get some points. Right? All along, I predicted it wasn't going to be a 0-point stretch. I figured 4. I figured we'd beat Fredrikstad and get a draw against somebody, maybe a couple somebodies. So maybe 4 or 5 points from those final 10 games. That's pretty close to what we did earlier in the season. We beat Sandefjord, and we drew with Mjøndalen, both at home. And otherwise, that stretch in July where we had 6 of the top teams in the league back to back, that was what we got. We got 4 points from those 6 matches. Kongsvinger, the one right before that. So make it 6 matches. 4 points from 6 matches. That was that stretch. So for that, it wasn't surprising that we struggled. I figured we would struggle again, but we ended up taking, 14 points from 10? 17 points from 11 through that stretch? I mean, incredible run by the team. But yeah, 14 points in those last 10 matches. We got the 3 we expected, but I managed to, on top of that, get 3 additional wins and a couple draws. Yeah, what a run. What a run. And we won 3 out of 4 at home in those last 10 games. I mean, I just over the moon about how well the team played down the stretch. Final standings, 30 played. Ranheim gets on top of the league. That is so tight. 4 points between first and fourth place. 1 point separating each of the top 3. Ranheim, Sundale, both going up. Bryn, whichever it is, in the promotion playoff against the relegation-tipped Elite Syrian side. So they will play each other. Mjøndalen just missing out because of us. Both of them, our last 2 games, we beat Bryn and we drew with Mjøndalen at the end of the season. Both of them, we cost them their chances. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible what we pulled off with that. But the top 6 sides, all professional sides, and then Ralphus. Kristiansund, professional. Straumen, I think, was professional, are they? No, they are the next semi-pro team. So we are now the 3rd best semi-professional team in all of Norway. We've climbed the ladder that far. We are now in the quote-unquote podium places when it comes to the semi-pro ranks. And that is going to draw us closer to being able to make that push to turn fully professional. But of course, there's going to be additional costs to do that, and the costs have obviously been an issue, something maybe needing addressing, as we've spent half of this last year with the absurd youth category rate, and then half of it with an acceptable rate where we actually make a slight profit. But for 6 months of slight profit versus 6 months of, oh my goodness, costs, that didn't balance out very well this year at all. Arendal out, Tromsø 2 out, Jerv not being listed, Asker on their way up, Vålerenga 2 heading to the playoff, Brann 2, and then Odd 2. All right, so here is our end of season review on the players we released this season, which is quite a few. Adam Stensby Jakobsen was among them. He's down to a team named Gru. Great name, by the way. 9 starts for him this season and just a 6.67 rating, so that 28-year-old keeper has not done well for himself. The rest were all 15, 16-year-olds, as in they were intake players that just were not good enough. They found homes further down the leagues and didn't necessarily perform too well. Next player with significant playing time, Berg Fossum. It's been quite a while since he played for us, but he did have a bit of time as a reserve player. He nearly got a 7.0 rating, but everybody else did. Kent Pena, not a ton of starts for, not Gru, that's Gry. But he just makes the 7.0 rating. Did score a few goals. That's big for him. I don't think he scored too many for us. Adamaj had 5 starts. Samuel Christensen, who was just starting to break into the side, but more as a deep reserve. Goran Strand had a few reserve appearances. Average home attendance exceeding 2,000 for the first time. That's 1/3 of our stadium's capacity. So there's still plenty of room for that to keep growing. Board really, really happy with how the season went. Bergam leading the way with 16 goals in all competitions this season. Sponsorship was disappointingly unchanged this season. I really hope that it changes in the upcoming year. Broadcast revenue, not quite double what it was, but it's definitely higher, moving up to the 2nd tier. Corporate and hospitality went up, but 5,000 is really not much money over the course of a season, with the kind of expenses that we have. Competition prize money is almost identical after winning the championship last year to just being at the level we're at. But of course, we did collect some money from our deep run in the Norwegian Cup. Match day commercial went up by a fair bit. I think that kind of mimicked the increase in attendance. But our club reputation has risen. We were into regional status, though still 1 star a year ago. This year, going up into that second tier has pushed us quite a bit in the reputation department, and we're now at 1.5 stars. That is something. That is something in terms of progress, at least. Just checking in on Hulkenberg. Of course, Hulkenberg was our top player. He's our first one to hit a 100 current ability. It's Valerenga who had taken him away from us, loaned him back for last season, and so now he's back with with Valerenga. And the fantastic thing is they did not store him away on their second or third team, like literally every other player that we've had sold in previous years. Valerenga kept him not only on the senior squad, but he got some appearances. Not a lot, but he had 5 starts in the Elite Syrian. That's big. The under-21 championships he played for Norway, it looks like. So he had 2 starts and 4 appearances off the bench. That's where he performed best this season. But a 6.82 rating in 5 starts and 1 bench appearance. Not bad. Not bad. You take that. 38 clearances. Not the greatest number, but for a young defender, that's pretty okay. Look at that value now, though. Jeez, wouldn't that be nice if Valerenga would have paid $6 million to us for him? Looking at some league-wide stats, we'll skip a lot of these, but Bergum is 5th in average rating with 7.3, actually equal 3-way tie there for 4th. Bergum was 5th in the league in goals. He was just one single goal away from actually being tied for 2nd in that department, and he definitely did it on fewer appearances than some of those players around him. He had 27 and had to be subbed off a number of times. He just doesn't quite have the fitness to really play the entirety of the season. Jonas Gay makes the top 10 in assists. Lovas makes the top 15. Bergum makes the top 15 in key passes. Lovas makes the top 10 in chances created. Andreasen makes the top 15 in that department. And you can see one of our strong suits emerging here. Fawoli and Hulkenberg, both in the top 5 in terms of passes attempted this season, and with pretty high pass completion percentages at 95 and 91%. And these are not center backs just moving the ball in keep away. These are guys in the middle of the pitch where there's definitely more traffic. Janssen also getting into the top 10 despite far fewer matches for the 19-year-old who is emerged this season as a definite strong contributor to our offense. Pass completion percentage for Woolley up in 12th. So yes, that is a sign, not just the number of attempts, but the number of completion, or at least the ratio. Bergum offside the most in the league. Not a stat you necessarily want, but 36 in 27 matches means it wasn't that far beyond 1 per match, or at least 1.25 per match. That's not so bad when a big part of our offense is trying to break in. Lovas, on the other hand, who is in that higher role, 17 times he was offside in his 26 starts. So much better ratio on that one, and I think he is the more likely to be offside than Bergum, so he probably does a better job of managing it. Jonas Gay is a right midfielder with 58 tackles won, makes it into the top 10. Andreasen, they're in 15th as well. They do a fantastic job of ball recovery and creation. So they really are two-way players. No wonder their ratings are so high. Hermansen makes 6th on the tackle 1 rate. Gillo with 30 key headers led the league. Now, only 79% of headers won, so he's not fantastic, but he makes the right headers at the right time. Severede, strong in interceptions, equaling 100 this season, which is good enough for 5th. Andreasen, 9th in blocks. And Jonas Gay was 16th. So, again, those wingers blocking a lot of crosses, doing the work, both ends. Clearances, not as great. Definitely not, missing Hulkenberg big time this year. But Gillo 14th, Severede tied for 15th. And no wonder Andreasen misses so many games. He gets his rest through yellow card accumulation. 75 fouls committed, but we've seen the good numbers, right? He has a very high tackle rate, but he also commits a pretty high number of fouls. Moen got to 10 shutouts this season. Not bad for a team that was in the relegation fight until the final 2 weeks of the season. Most saves held in the entire league by a pretty good margin. Moen with 95 saves held. That is a fantastic number. 43 saves parried. You can see his ratio is pretty dang good compared to almost all the goalkeepers in the league. Much better than quite a few of them anyway. Moen's expected goals per 90 was 1.51. What he actually conceded, 1.47. So almost exact on what he should have given up this season. He made a lot of saves. He was forced into making a lot of saves, and that is because defensively we just weren't that great. But Moen was not the problem. He was pretty average. He gave up what he should give up. And with a 1.41 expected goals prevented, that's the almost identical to the expected that he gave up. So he prevented as much as he gave up. While that is definitely not the high end of, of what you get in the league, it wasn't bad. Second in the league in saves per 90, and that's what I was talking about. He really could have been right at the bottom of the league, but he wasn't. He made a lot of saves. He made a lot of stops. That was important. Fourth in save percentage absolutely plays into that. There's stronger keepers around, but Moen did a decent job. And, goalkeeper. Our goalkeepers have performed decently, no matter who we've had between the sticks, but we've never had great goalkeepers. So to have them at this high of a level, still performing, not fantastically, but still performing, is a real testament to, what we've done as a team and how we play, because Moen really shouldn't be this high on the list. But we force other teams into taking bad shots. We give up a lot of shots. He's forced to make a lot of saves, but he's able to make a lot of those stops. One of the difficulties we face this season is that we gave up more penalties than some of the other teams around us. Not many keepers stopped any penalties at all. Moen tied for second by stopping 2, and that was out of just 3 attempts, which in reality should have him alone in second place. Tromso too. Not a great stat for him, by the way. I think, look at this. Look at the stats. Who had the best save percentage on penalties? And that's Simon Moen. 66%, 2 out of 3. Isdalen made 3 stops, but it was 15 penalties that he faced this season. He only stopped 1 out of every 5. Nielsen, who we went up against with Fredrikstad, he made 2 stops, but that was on 5 attempts. Yeah, really impressed by that stat. Moen, that's his standout performance. Stopped 2 out of 3 penalties he faced this season. All right, folks, well, that's going to do it for this episode and this season. We have done it. We have managed to stay put in the Obosligen, and if we continue to develop, that safety should get more and more assured. Next season, though, especially as a semi-pro team, there's not much upward movement for us. There's just further distancing the other semi-pro teams. We beat them out, but barely. So hopefully next season's a little more comfortable, but I don't think we have much upward mobility until we go pro. There's just, we were third best of all the semi-pro teams. We don't have much room to climb. until we go pro. We'll see what happens. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.